Everybody to our first meeting of the year. Our first one got snowed out last Thursday, so today is just a continuation. To start off our meeting, I'm going to ask my new Junior Deputy Supervisor, Gabriel Ramos, to step up to the platform over there. And he's going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, so please everybody stand, and when the pledge is over, please a moment of silence for those that protect us around the world.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. So welcome to the January 4th/9th Woodbury Town Board meeting. To my left is re-elected Councilman Robert Hunter. I've got Mr. Councilman Arone. To my right is Councilman Essex. And to the far right, all the way down there, I can hardly see her, is newly elected Councilwoman Jackie Hernandez. All right, so now we're going to do the oath of office, and we're going to start with Mr. Gabriel. He's going to get up there and go over to Desiree, the town clerk.
Apparently. Okay, I'm going to sit so I'm not towering over you, okay? You're just going to raise your hand. You're going to repeat after me, okay? I state your name.
I, Gabriel Ramos,
Promise to perform the duties
promise to perform the duties
of Junior Deputy Supervisor
of Junior Deputy Supervisor
for January 2018
for January 2018
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Wait. You got to go back up. You're a busy man tonight. You're going to earn your money. I have for my new junior deputy supervisor a certificate of acknowledgement. It doesn't fall apart on me here, which is, I'm going to leave it the way it is, but it's going to fall apart. Certificate of acknowledgement. This certificate is to acknowledge Gabriel Ramos has been bestowed the title of Junior Deputy Supervisor for January 2018, signed Frank J. Palermo, Supervisor for the town of Woodbury. Like that, huh? I'd just like to make a quick mention. When I was walking the town, I met Gabriel when I went door to door. He was just like so into what I was doing. He was like really, you know, he was asking me questions. He was excited. And I was with Jackie, and it just dawned on me. He said, "Would you like to be my junior deputy supervisor?" And he was like, "Oh, yeah," you know. And I ran into him at the trunk or treat, and he goes, "Don't forget, I'm going to be your deputy supervisor." And I says, I haven't forgotten you. So it's a program that I'd like to start to get young children involved in politics in some way, or at least let them learn about it. And if you wish to be involved, you can write to the supervisor for the town of Woodbury, P.O. Box. Is that right? 1004, Highland Mills, New York. And just say in a few words why you want to be a deputy junior supervisor, and hopefully we'll get enough that we'll have one a month. So you're the first, kid. You broke the ground. Congratulations.
garbage wasn't picked up here.
All right, now I'm going to ask Councilman Hunter. He'll be sworn in.
You look familiar. You raise your hand, please, and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Robert Hunter,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
to uphold the Constitution of the United States
to uphold the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
while faithfully discharging the duties of
while faithfully discharging the duties of
Town Councilman
Town Councilman
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my abilities.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah.
All right, I'm going to ask newly elected Councilwoman Jacqueline Hernandez to go on up to get sworn in.
A vision in purple. Let me know when you're ready, because I know you've got a group coming. All right. Okay. You need to raise your right hand, please, and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Jacqueline Hernandez,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
to uphold the Constitution of the United States
to uphold the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
while faithfully discharging the duties of
while faithfully discharging the duties of
Town Councilman
Town Councilwoman
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Desiree.
And now Councilwoman Hernandez's children are going to place her plaque up on where she's sitting. And I know it works because I tried it already. Okay, Shari?
Hi, I'm Desiree. Hi. Raise your right hand. I state your name.
I, Frank J. Palermo,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
to uphold the Constitution of the United States
to uphold the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New
while
York,
faithfully discharging the duties of
while faithfully discharging the duties of
Town Supervisor
town supervisor
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Congratulations again.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
They get $5 a pop for these.
Do you? I'm charging $20 a pop.
All right, let's do some business.
No,
That's what
we
we-
have David Hassan.
Oh, I'm sorry, David. I saw you come in. I apologize. Newly re-elected Judge David Hassan.
Thank you.
Hi, David.
Hello. Anything else you want, Dave? Pizza? Something up, park the car?
I state your name.
I, David Hassan,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
to uphold the Constitution of the United States
to uphold the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
while faithfully discharging the duties of
while faithfully discharging the duties of
town justice
town justice
to the best of my ability.
to the very best of my abilities.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Desiree.
You're very welcome.
I don't know, Tim. Feels weird. We all went to the room with it.
And just to note, the tax collector, Carol Herb, who's also reelected, she has a broken patella, so she can't be here this evening, but I will be doing her oath of office for her on Thursday when she's here collecting taxes. And mine was done by County Clerk Annie Rabbit in December.
Before I go any further, is there anyone else being sworn in? No? Okay, let's go. Let's do the business of the town. The reorganizational meeting, which is held the first meeting of every year. I need a motion and a second to appoint Councilwoman Jacqueline Hernandez as Deputy Supervisor for the town of Woodbury at a salary of $1,200 a year to be paid $100 per month. I'll make that motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
And all in favor?
Can I have
Aye.
Discussion.
a comment?
Go ahead, Bob.
The salary of $1,200,
Okay.
now we have a mechanism in place already for
Okay.
paying a deputy supervisor.
Okay.
I was just curious why the change was necessary.
Because I've been through that mechanism and it doesn't work. So my feeling is, as we discussed at our work session, that I feel that this is appropriate. She'll be busy. I'll make sure of that. And I think it is appropriate to be paid. Anybody else? Okay. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
You guys can talk, you know. Any noes?
No.
Okay, thank you. I need a motion and a second to hold a regular meeting of the town of Woodbury, the town board, in the town hall on the first and third Thursdays of each and every month at 7:30 p.m. and that the town board will hold a work session on Monday preceding the town board meeting at 7:30 p.m. If a work session were to fall on a holiday, it'll be held on the next Tuesday. I need a motion and I need a second.
I'll motion.
I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor? Aye.
Well, I just like to comment that we've been doing without work sessions for the last couple of years, and so we're working pretty good. So my suggestion, probably too late, would be to start the meeting earlier, say 7 o'clock, do a work session then proceed to the regular meeting. Or, as an alternative, start it at 7:30 with a work session and then proceed into the regular meeting. That way we don't have 4 meetings a month that people feel obligated to try to get to.
Well, my feeling is when you applied for the job, that's exactly what the job called for, 4 meetings a month. Councilman recently got a raise, and I think that to lower the amount of work is would be a shame. So, unfortunately, it hasn't worked, although you think it did. Sitting in the office for 1 week, you're going to be very busy for the next few Mondays. Trust me. And we're going to get our work done. So, thank you for your opinion. But is that going to be a no, Bob?
Well, I just
Councilman?
gotta- But that, Mr. Supervisor, this doesn't necessarily mean that every Monday, 9 months from now, it's scheduled. And you can
No,
always
it's only if
cancel.
it's needed, Councilman.
Thank you.
Yes.
I also want to add to that. It's if it's needed, right? Because
Correct.
of conflicting schedules
Correct.
with all our work, it could wind up many times not have a quorum.
All right, well, if we don't have a quorum, we can't meet, but I would like to hope that you guys can make it, and to be perfectly honest with you, they're needed. We get a lot of work done. As you know, we had our first work session, and sitting in a room, 5 people together, you get things accomplished. If you want to do everything by email, forget it. We tried that system. It didn't work.
And these will not be not televised, correct?
They will not be televised, there'll not be minutes. It'll be us just sitting there, just trying to get work done so that we can come to this meeting on a Thursday and move through it.
I think we just got to vote.
No, I thought we had, okay.
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Against?
No.
I need a motion and a second to accept the following: that the Middletown Times-Herald Record be designated as the official newspaper for the town of Woodbury, that members of the town government and employees, when on official business or duty for the town, shall be paid at a rate of 0.545 per mile for the use of their car. Rate includes gas and wear and tear of the vehicle. And third, the maximum food allowance per day when employees attend the conference is $75 with no alcohol beverages reimbursed. I need a motion and a second.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion.
Go ahead.
Being that the rate does fluctuate depending on, it fluctuates throughout the year, so to put an actual rate in, wouldn't it be?
That's
easy?
by the that's by the IRS.
Right, but it fluctuates throughout the year. It depends. Sometimes it's,
I don't
you
think
know.
so.
Yeah, so I know what you're going
Yeah.
with, Councilman. It's like, AAA comes out with a fluctuation rate, but.
Exactly.
But generally speaking, the IRS
Sets the rate.
sets the rate, and
January.
that's what it is for
Okay,
the year.
that's fine,
So-
as long as I didn't want to see anybody getting gypped out for
Yeah.
anything.
No, it
No.
goes by the IRA.
No.
One year there was a change, the IRS did change, and
With
we
the
had that
tax.
huge
Right,
gas
spike.
exactly when it
And
spiked.
then we did a motion at that time to.
That's fine.
To recognize it.
Just for the record.
So I need a motion and a second.
I'll motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'm going to let Desiree read the investment policy because I know that she's been real quiet and she don't want to be felt left
Well,
out.
we can read it, or you can just accept it as presented. It's up to you.
Okay.
That's the way to go.
Okay. I need a motion and a second to adopt the investment policy as presented here tonight in our organizational meeting.
I'll make that motion.
Second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the following are appointments that were made. I need a motion and a second to make the following appointments. Mr. Fred Ungerer to the Parks and Recreation Commission with a term due to expire on 12/31/2024. Kathy Schmidt to the Library Board with a term due to expire 12/31/2024. Eddie Lopez to the Board of Assessment Review with a term due to expire on 9/30/2022. And Robert Anzalone to the Beautification Commission with a term due to expire 12/31/2024. So I need a motion and a second, please.
Motion.
Second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I need a motion and a second to approve the following appointments. Desiree Potvin as Registrar and Marriage Officer. Francis Wang, Tracy Maggio as Deputy Town Clerks. Josephine Califana, Cassandra Herb as Deputy Tax Collector. And Leslie Rose as Historian.
I'll make that motion.
Do I need a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
This is the part I know Joe likes. Consultants. Motion was, I need a motion and a second to designate Joseph McKay with the law firm of Katina, Mahone, Milligram, and Ryder, PLLC, as our general legal counsel.
Motion.
Need a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Actually, one quick thing.
Sure.
Mr. Supervisor. This just doesn't pin us down, like, so if Eric or whatever, we don't have to name all of those folks, right, Mr. McKay?
Sure, I need plenty of help, so you're really retaining the firm.
The firm, okay.
Yeah.
Which we announced anyway.
Which we announced, so, yep.
But I would like to make note, let me see if I can get on TV here instead of the poll, that Mr. McKay was voted as one of the top 10 litigators. So we want him doing our work. So thank you, Joe. It's much appreciated. I need a motion and a second to designate Al Fusco Engineering as engineers for the town of Woodbury.
Motion.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I need a motion and a second to designate Thomas McDonough with the law firms of Jackson Lewis as our labor attorney.
Motion.
A second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Committee assignments.
I need a motion and a second to make the following committee assignments. Desiree, if you don't mind.
Cable franchise would be Councilman Essig and Councilman Hunter. Fiscal advisory, Councilwoman Hernandez and Supervisor Palermo. Library liaison, Councilman Hunter and Councilwoman Hernandez. Police department, Councilman Arone and Councilman Essig. Municipal building, Councilwoman Hernandez and Supervisor Palermo. Insurance, Councilman Arone and Councilman Hunter. Business improvement district, Supervisor Palermo and Councilman Arone. Refuse, Councilman Hunter and Councilman Essig. Parks Department, Councilwoman Hernandez and Supervisor Palermo. Employee Relations, Supervisor Palermo and Councilman Essig. Pre-disaster mitigation planning, Supervisor Palermo and Councilman Arone. And Village Liaison, Councilman Arone and Councilman Essig.
So I need a motion. I'll make that motion. I need a second.
I'll second.
All in favor? Any discussion?
Just the municipal building.
Yes?
I hope you include Desiree in any and all meetings with that.
Well, this is what this is saying is that we are the liaisons to it. When we're ready to get ready working on it, we'll form a committee, and if Desiree happens to be a part of that committee, that will be great. But until then, and we start working on it, I'm not going to make any commitments on that. So we have a motion and we have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
How do we usually do the procurement policy, Desiree?
I think you
As
should read the whole
stated.
thing.
Do the whole thing?
Go for it. No, you can do it as stated.
Okay. I need a motion and a second to adopt the procurement policy as stated.
Motion.
A second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And it states at the end that this policy shall be reviewed annually by the town board at its organizational meeting or as soon thereof after as it is reasonably practiced. The official undertaking. I need a motion and a second to approve the below form in italics of the official undertaking of municipal officers of the town pursuant to Section 11 of Public Officers Law and the manner of execution and the sufficiency of the town's insurance company's surety. This undertaking will be administered to all elected officials upon the start of their elected terms that handle funds on behalf of the town of Woodbury. The town of Woodbury, Orange County, New York, official undertaking of municipal office. Is that, Desiree, would be me and the deputy supervisor?
It's going to be you, the deputy supervisor, myself, and the judge and the tax collector. Anyone
Okay.
who handles money that's newly elected.
Okay. Of the town of Woodbury, County of Orange, New York, has been elected to the office of, as we stated this evening, judge, town clerk, deputy supervisor, councilman, and supervisor. Now, therefore, he or she, as respective officer above, do hereby undertake with the town of Woodbury that he or she will faithfully perform and discharge the duties of the office and will promptly account for and pay over all monies or properties received as a town officer in accordance to the law, and the town does and shall maintain insurance coverage presently with the New York Municipal Insurance Reciprocal in the sum of $100,000 per loss plus an additional $200,000 for the tax collector and deputy tax collector, $100,000 for the town supervisor and deputy town supervisor, and $100,000 for the town clerk and deputy town clerks to indemnify against loss through the failure of the officers, clerks, and employees covered thereunder faithfully to perform their duties or to account properly for all monies or properties received by virtue of their positions or employment, and though fraudulent or dishonest acts committed by the officers, clerks, and employees shall be covered thereunder. So, I need a motion and a second.
Motion.
I need a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And that's the end of our reorg. Thank you. All right, administrative business. I need the acceptance of the minutes for the 12/21 and 12/28 meetings. Do I have a motion and a second?
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Need approval of the budget modifications. Desiree?
First one is a modification to the 2017 budget of the general fund by increasing A 599 appropriated fund balance by $3,150 and increasing A 1680.200 central data processing equipment by $3,150.
I need a motion and a second, please.
Make that motion.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any more?
There's another one. There's two more.
Okay.
Modification to the 2017 budget of various funds by increasing A 599 appropriated fund balance by $13,036, B 59 appropriated fund balance by $11,685, SR 599 appropriated fund balance by $12, SW1 599 appropriated fund balance by $153, SS2 599 appropriated fund balance by $6, and increasing A 1930.400 judgment and claims by $13,036, B 1930.400 judgment and claims by $11,685, SR 1930.400 judgments and claims by $12, SW1 1930.400 judgments and claims by $153, SS2 1930.400 judgment and claims by $6.
Thank you. I need a motion and a second.
I'll make that motion.
You need a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
And the last is a modification to the 2017 budget of the police fund by increasing B 2665 sale of equipment by $14,555, decreasing B 3120.421 labor attorney by $4,038, and increasing B 3120.200 cars and motorcycles by $15,593, B 3120.416 uniforms by $3,000.
I'll make that motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion?
Just so you are aware of the sale, and we were able to purchase a new vehicle out of that as well. So it really cost us very minimal amount of money to get a brand-new motorcycle back in the department.
That's right. It's a Harley, right?
Exactly.
Beautiful. Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, next we have a modification to the 2018 grade plan. And what that is we did a budget, not a budget, we did a modification to organize the 2018 UPSI grade plan. We felt that a couple things needed to be added or taken out, and so I'm asking that we get a motion and a second to approve the 2018 UPSI grade plan.
I'll make that motion.
I'll
Thank you.
second it.
Thank you. Any discussion?
Number 14, vacant.
Well, yeah, if you go on vacation, we pay you now.
Okay.
There is no spot for that.
Okay.
Okay?
Yep.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. I keep losing my agenda. Old business, the renewal of a service plan for we have 3 defibrillators at the Woodbury PD, and they do need to be serviced. And so it's a 1-year plan for $1,188. So I need a motion and a second on that.
Motion.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Thank you. Is there any discussion?
We just had, Mr. Supervisor, all the other defibrillators in town, they're on a service contract as well.
I'm not sure if the others are, because I know that these are three specific. They're not the same as all the others.
These are, Councilman Arone, these are the ones that are in the vehicles.
Oh, they're in the vehicles?
Yeah.
Okay.
They're mobile.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, thanks.
but I can check to see what the status is on the others, but I know that this is a
I
specific
thought we
contract
did
for
it
them.
maybe last year or so. I thought the other ones, I thought we did something.
I
see
think we're going to
somebody in
need
the
to
audience.
upgrade them. No, I think we're going to need to upgrade them,
something
if
we
I'm
need to
not
look
mistaken,
into.
right, Pat? Probably going to need to get new ones. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank
And we'll
you.
do that, yes. New business, I need a motion and a second to schedule a public hearing, local law to increase the supervisor's salary. Desiree, do you want to read that, please? Joe?
Resolution of the Town Board of the Town of Woodbury setting a time and place for a public hearing regarding adopting local law number 1 of 2018, fixing the per annum salary of the supervisor of the Town of Woodbury for the 2018 fiscal year. Whereas the annual 2018 budget for the Town of Woodbury, duly adopted in November 2017, reduced the salary for the position of supervisor of the Town of Woodbury from $53,130 to $33,000 per annum. Whereas the Town Board, having reviewed the 2018 budget and the supervisor's salary as reduced in the budget, wishes to adopt local law number 1, returning the supervisor's salary to $53,130 per annum. And whereas the Town Board wishes to set a time and place for a public hearing to consider the adoption of the proposed local law, now therefore it's hereby resolved that the Town Board hereby determines that it will be the lead agency with respect to the review of the proposed local law in accordance with the New York State Environmental Quality Review Act and Part 617 of the regulations implementing SECRA, since there are no other involved agencies or agencies that have the authority to approve the project, and be it further resolved that the Town Board hereby preliminarily classifies the action as an unlisted action under SECRA, and let it be further resolved that a public hearing be held by the Town Board in order to receive comments and suggestions regarding the proposed adoption of local law number 1, and to hear comments concerning any potential adverse environmental impacts of proposed local law number 1 on January 18th.
Joe, that's got to be moved to February 1st.
It's a good time to tell me. February 1st?
Correct, at 7:30.
To hold a hearing on February 1st at the Town Hall located at 511 Route 32, Town of Woodbury. And further resolved that the town clerk is hereby authorized and directed to cause notice of said public hearing to be given as provided by law, and to make such referrals as of the proposed local law to the Orange County Department of Planning and such other agencies as may be required.
Thank you. May I get a motion and a second, please?
I'll motion.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion?
Just that in the reorg meeting, we had a very lengthy discussion over this, so I guess we'll save that for the hearing, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
This
Thank
is
you.
just to set the public hearing.
Okay.
All in favor? Aye.
Okay.
No for me.
Okay. I need a motion and a second to, authorize the supervisor to sign the UPSI MOA, which basically what it does is we had a woman that is working up at the assessor's office who was given a union grade and position, civil service, and the UPSI union has agreed to accept that position. And so we need to sign off on that agreement that's been sitting here since July. So I've spoken with the the UPSI representative, and I mentioned to him that I will make sure that this gets taken care of at our first meeting, and so here we are. So I need a motion and a second to approve this MOA. I'll make the motion.
Second.
Thank you, Tim. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. I'm sure she'll thank you. This last one on the new business is to change the salaries of specific employees. When they were first hired, they were put on a grade 1, contrary to what they should have been put on. And so, do I have to read each person? I think, okay. Anthony Bashiller was hired on 10/16/17 as a court attendant. He came in on a grade 2 at $17.46 per hour. Although he has not worked for the town for the full year, it appears that he should have been put in as a grade 5 at $19.27 an hour. Should I just go through all of them and then we'll vote on it? Anita Bauman was hired on 7/18/17 as the library assistant. She came in on a grade 1 at $16.36 per hour. Although she has not worked for the town for a full year, the only option for that title is shown on a grade 10 at $22.42 an hour. However, we have considered adding an entry level for that title, since she hasn't been here for a year, on a grade 5, and that's what we will be paying her at $19.27. Pat Graziano was hired on 11/7/16 as a senior citizens activity leader. She came in at a grade 1 at $16.36 per hour. She has reached her 1 year working for the town, and that she will be increased to a grade 5 at $19.27 per hour. These grades that we're bringing them to are actually the grades that they should have been placed at when they first were hired by the town of Woodbury. Yuri Marty Now? Is that right? Oh. As good as it's going to get. Was hired on 9/27/16. Oh, no. Sorry, wrong person. Was hired on 10/2/17 as a groundskeeper. He came in at a grade 1 at $16.36 per hour. Although he hasn't worked for 1 full year, the only option is grade 1 on the B schedule, which is $25.17 an hour. So that would be his position. Stephanie Miglione was hired on 9/27/16 as clerk to the town justice. She is on a grade 1 at $16.36 per hour. She has reached her 1 year working at the town, and she will be increased to a grade 5 at $19.27 per hour. Julie Rose was hired on 9/31/17 as the assistant assessor. In fact, Julie Rose is the person that we just voted on the previous thing. She's supposed to be in the union, but the town has not assigned the document giving them permission to add that title to the list of UPSI employees. Once she is approved, she would be entitled to go in at a grade 5 at $19.27 per hour. And last is Nicole Wooden. She was hired on 4/10/17 as the ADCO, which is the Animal Dog Control Officer. She came in at a grade 1 at $16.36 per hour. Although she hasn't worked a full year, she should have been put at a grade 2 at $17.46. So I need a motion and a second to approve those movements in the grades. I think it's the right thing to do. I spoke with each and every one of you about this. We discussed it at our work session, so I need a motion and a second.
Motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Any discussion?
And this is all per, they're now in the correct pay
Correct.
grade.
Correct.
Which is what they should have been put in.
When
back
they were
in-
first
when they
hired.
were first hired.
Correct.
For UPSI.
Correct.
So, to speak about UPSI, so this is to prevent any perp charge or anything moving forward. This is settles
Correct.
all.
Correct. This settles all that.
Okay.
Okay? And we'll, as I felt, is it's a new year, and we'll move forward. No sense looking back. So, I got the motion in a second. All in favor? Aye. All right. Let's go to some public comment. What we'll do is, if you want to, anyone in the first row, want to make any public comment? Second row? Third?
Good evening, Sandy Capriglione. I just have some questions about some of the reorg and the agenda items. As far as the reorg, while I have every confidence and faith that Mrs. Hernandez is going to make a fine councilwoman, I'm questioning, we all know that we've lost 2 supervisors, sitting supervisors, and the immediacy for a deputy supervisor with experience in a case like that. So I'm curious as to the thought process in appointing Mrs. Hernandez. I think that's a pretty big burden to place on her shoulders should something happen.
I think she's a big girl.
I'm not questioning that at
She
all.
owns her own business. I spent
That's
the
fine.
entire summer walking with her, and I'm truly confident that, God forbid, something should happen to me, that she can take over. But I'm going to ruin her thoughts of being a supervisor because I have absolutely no intentions of leaving.
Okay, well, then with that...
Knock wood.
Well, then, with that said, in the past, and I went back to 2012, it's always been a stipend per diem. So I'm not, again, I'm confused as to the $1,200 annual salary, whether she's sitting in your seat or not.
I explained this earlier, that I've been in that position 4 times, and it doesn't work.
But you never objected to what you were being paid.
Let's make that clear. I wasn't paid, actually.
So you never objected to it.
No, I didn't. But I know how it felt, and to be perfectly honest with you, I think I showed the town board what other towns are doing, and a majority of the towns do pay their deputy supervisor. Nowhere's near what we're paying Jackie, meaning she's low woman on the totem pole. They're paying up to $10,000. Some are paying two, and it ranges between $2,000 and $10,000. And I think that the $1,200 is fair enough for her.
Okay, well, I'm just telling
It's
you
okay.
the way I
I'm
see
just
it.
explaining it to you.
Okay. As far as the UPSI contract and the increase in salaries, as well as the new or the proposed local law number 1, where are those increases coming from? They weren't budgeted for, so where will they come from?
They will come from our personnel
Reserve?
lines. Yeah, we have no other choice. I mean, the reality of it is they should have been placed at the right position to begin with.
But why wasn't that question
because-
before?
Well, it wasn't voted on until the end, and I guess most of us did not even realize that situation. And then it was brought to my attention by one of the department heads, and so I looked into it and realized that this has become a problem and that we need to fix it.
Okay. Well, then that leads me to my next question. I attended the tentative budget meeting on October 5th, where several of these items were discussed. The largest one was the decrease in supervisor salary. At the time, Mr. Essick, you were emphatic about the salary being reduced to $30,000. Mr. Arone, you suggested that it be increased to $33,000 because the judges, you felt the supervisor should make more than the judges. Mr. Hunter, you agreed that it should be at $33,000. And Mr. Palermo, you said that you didn't want to say anything because you were running for office. You had a second chance to say something at the public hearing, and you didn't say a word. Mrs. Hernandez, you spoke at the public hearing for the budget, and you never brought up the salary for supervisor. And then the night that it was voted on, Mr. Rohn and Mr. Essick, you had no comment as to that line item either. So I'm wondering what happened between November of 2017 and now to warrant a $20,000 increase in salary when, over 10 years ago now, when the village was created and the departments systematically were shifted over to the village, the supervisor's salary was never decreased. And the council person's salaries were never decreased. In fact, they were increased. The mayor, who I believe has just as much workload, just as great a workload, is at $20,000. So being that your budget is slightly higher than the village, a $33,000 salary seems appropriate. And I just don't understand, when nothing was said 3 different times, why now?
Because I was not going to fight it at that point. I thought it was being used as a leverage in an election. But it's fine. I've asked my board members. I've spoken with with most of them. We've had a meeting, and they feel that this was not done because of the workload or anything else.
It's been discussed for years.
No, it hasn't, because the supervisor's pay has been the same for the last 12 years. It hasn't budged.
But you've lost departments.
But but that department had nothing to do with what the highway department has nothing to do with it.
I'm talking about the sewer, the water, the planning, the zoning. All of those departments are now
But they
shifted.
never got an increase, and I'm not really here to argue it. But what I'd like to say is that I know that the past supervisor, when he came in, all that was gone, and he gladly took that $53,000 a year. And
but it was reduced before the election.
Coincidentally, no.
It was. October 5th was when this board, albeit not Jackie or Mrs. Hernandez, but this board agreed on $33,000 on October 5th. That was the tentative budget.
No, but that salary was decreased right after the primary.
That was at your tentative budget meeting.
No.
Openly at your tentative budget meeting, that is when it was changed.
That was when it was discussed.
Exactly, and that's what was moved forward.
But it was not changed from 53 to 30 at that meeting. That was done right after the primary.
What meeting was that at?
Your past supervisor walked in and changed that price.
What meeting was that at?
There wasn't a meeting. That's the point.
But at the tentative...
Most of us did not know that salary was lowered until we got the tentative budget.
And that was at the time that it should have been hashed out and discussed, which it was.
Okay.
And everybody was in agreement, and that's my question.
They've had a change of heart. What can I tell you? They've seen me work for a week, and they like it.
Okay. All right. That's all I have for now.
Sandy, can I speak to that? Because I actually do want to make a comment on that. First of all, the discussion that we had... there was a lot of discussion in regards to making sure that, when we're making this decision, that we're taking into account our goal, which is to address the budget as far as the finances, as far as the various areas that we feel there's careless spending. This was an area that we talked about. We did talk about, the prior supervisor making this change towards the ending of his term and collecting, where when he went into term, he did state that he wanted to lower his salary and did not do it until towards the ending of the time. Also, the supervisor had a secretary at the time, and part of this discussion included no secretary for the current supervisor. And so there's going to be no increase per se as far as the budget's concerned. We do believe that the supervisor coming on full-time and all of the items that we're hoping to achieve, that he's going to be very busy as a town supervisor, and we believe that it's worth, if you're working full-time and giving up your full-time job, to take on this position to run a town the right way, we believe that he deserves that salary. Now, as I said, he will not have a secretary as the previous supervisor had. The previous supervisor had his full pay in addition to a secretary, which was amounting at close to about $80,000. Currently, Mr. Palermo will be just being brought back up to the supervisor's pay that received his pay. He'll be brought up to that pay, and he will forego a secretary so that it does not cost the town any. So we agreed to those terms.
So under the line items for the supervisor's office and salaries and positions,
The town is
dollar
saving,
amount.
the town is saving $10,000.
Sandy, what happened was they offset the cost by
That's what-
having a
that's what I'm
secretary.
asking.
They took the cost of the secretary, reduced it, eliminated it,
Okay,
and then possibility, and that's what I said to you. I said if you were paying attention, if everybody was paying attention, I'll discuss what we said at the hearing at the reorg, because that's pretty much what Councilman Hernandez is saying.
No, I understand what she's saying, but that's what I just asked.
So that's where the
You're
money
saying it's
line
staying
item.
the same, but you're saying, Supervisor Palermo, you're saying that it's going to be reduced 10,000?
No, what I'm saying is the town is saving $10,000 because you're giving me an increase of 20,000, and his personal secretary made over 30,000 last year.
So that you're saying the net will
So
be.
that would have been 83,000, where you're paying me 53.
Okay.
Yeah, I think where you're going with Sandy. So I think the secretary was like 30,000 or just shy of 30,000.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you take the supervisor's current salary, if you take 30,000, what's in the budget?
Right. No, I
30,000
understand.
for the secretary, and then 33. That comes out to 63. And what the so that's where that 10,000.
Yeah, that's where
Yeah,
the 10,
so
that's what
instead
we were
I'm
going to
taking only
discuss.
53.
And pretty much what you discussed is what we're going to
So,
discuss at the
but
open
that's what I'm
meeting.
saying, on the budget, if you look at the budgets for your department, then it should show approximately $10,000 less then.
Correct.
Okay.
Well, you know what? Our last budget session, we agreed on $33,000, this entire board. And to make a change now is pretty disingenuous for people out there. I think that next year we could look at this, the next budget season, and review it then. That's what should be done. And Jackie, I know you're speaking, you said we, but I'm in opposition to the increase right now.
Bob, if you would have stayed at the reorg, we basically discussed if you reduced what Sandy and what was explained that Councilman Arone just said, and I know we could save it for the hearing, but if you put the salary with the secretary, it's still, the costing is back, of the savings back to the residents still. That's why we looked at that. I know it ended, I agreed 100% with reducing because we know our duties reduced, but there was a secretary.
You're
Supervisor
bringing the
Palermo,
secretary into this to try to justify it, and I don't know why you're doing that.
because Supervisor Palermo stated he's not going to have a secretary.
We're talking about the supervisor's salary, not some secretary.
But he's taking on those
Can
duties.
can I just say something? We got a public hearing coming up in February 1st. If you guys want to argue about it, let's do it then. Anything else, Andy?
Nope, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, I forget what row we're at, but anybody else?
We're at 1, 2, you're at the third row, we were at the
Fourth row? Fifth? Anybody? Okay. Mr. McKay? Desiree?
Just that on February 4th, although the Packers won't be there, there is a Super Bowl, and the John P. Burke Scholarship Fundraiser will be having a pancake breakfast with the Woodbury Community Association, the Woodbury Lions Club, the Woodbury Knights of Columbus, and there's one more, Woodbury Chamber of Commerce. We're going to be having a pancake breakfast at the Village Hall. It's $10 per person, and all proceeds will be going to a gentleman who works for the town, who has been diagnosed with a very, very serious illness, stage 4 lung cancer. So he's not able to work at this time. So all money raised for that event will be going directly to him and his family. ShopRite is donating all of the food, so there is almost zero overhead associated with it. So this would be truly an event where all the money goes to a person in need. So again, it'll be on Sunday, February 4th, when the Packers won't be playing, at the Village Hall. $10 per person. 9 a.m. I think it's 8 a.m. to noon. It's on the whiteboard over there. And it'll be on the website. It'll be on the Chamber's website. We're going to have these signs all over town, and it's a great event. It's also a great time for the community. Yay, my computer came back on. A great time for the community to come together and socialize and meet your neighbors who you might not know. So come on out and do that.
Thank you, Desiree. Councilman Hunter?
Yeah, the board received a letter, I think it was today, from a resident in Monroe who adopted a dog. and she gave rave reviews to Pam Gambuti and her crew up there on the fantastic job they were doing and the care that they show these animals, and also the cleanliness of the facility. So I'd like to thank Pam for continued success with their rock star duties up there, and job well done. That's all.
Councilman Arone?
I'd like to congratulate Councilman Hunter. Looking forward to working with you again for another 2 years. Congratulations, Supervisor Palermo. Looking forward to working with you in your new capacity over the next couple years. And Councilwoman Hernandez, welcome to the board. Look forward to working with you over the next 2 years. Our lovely town clerk, Desiree, congratulations. Look forward to working with you over the next 2 years. During the election season, things are said and done and so on and so forth. Now that the election season is over, here's your board, whether you like it or not. We're here all to serve the residents of Woodbury. We all come from different backgrounds, different political party affiliations, but just in the time being, I know everybody here wants to do the best job for Woodbury. We might not agree on everything. We might scream and holler. I don't think so, but or disagree on certain things. But we're here to work for you guys, the residents of Woodbury. So if you have any issues, comments, or concerns, you can always contact one of us, or you'll go to the supervisor's office. But look forward to working with this board, and good 2018, folks.
Councilman Essick?
Yeah, I'll piggyback. I won't go through all the names, but congratulations to everybody. Congratulations. Just real quick, I pretty much what Councilman Arone said is right on point. We're going to move on. Today, just so you know, the town board wanted to appreciate our law enforcement officers. Today's Law Enforcement Appreciation Day. We actually sent some food down to the police station, thanking the men and women of the department for all they do. The only thing we have to do is get a new dog bone for Zeke. We have to make sure we get that. He is an officer, so we have to make sure we take care of Zeke.
He didn't like the pizza?
He might have the pizza. He may have some pizza. I don't know. But otherwise than that, one thing I do want to make I thought 32 was horrible through the last storm.
It always is.
I got to tell you, I thought it was probably the worst I think I've ever seen. I think maybe another little letter to the state, maybe come out a little earlier. Otherwise than that, good night. I'm good.
Deputy Supervisor, Ms. Hernandez.
I just want to thank everybody for attending tonight, as well as for all individuals who were elected this new year. I look forward to learning a lot from all of my new peers, as well as contributing to our community. I really want to continue to encourage everyone to be a part of the process. As I said before, when I walked, these are bipartisan issues. These are issues that we are all impacted. It's a learning experience, and of course, if there's anyone who's watching the video, if there's anyone who would like to be a part of the process, I invite you to attend these meetings, because you really learn a lot about your community. And I really hope that me being elected to the board shows people that you don't really need to know everything to be a part of this community. You just really have to be passionate and want to work hard for it. And I want to really just congratulate everyone, even those individuals who did not get elected, for just continuing to be an example in the community, and for helping us to move Woodbury forward. So I invite everyone to take their seat at the table. And I'm hoping that we will get more engagement from our community, fresh ideas, and to continue to diversify the comments and the ideas that this community needs to continue to progress and to be able to withstand the changes that are occurring in our community. So I want to thank everybody, and I want to thank all of the town board meeting members for being so welcoming to me and for embracing me in this new position.
Thank you. A couple of things that I'd like to announce. pretty much what we're looking forward to in the new year. We have an UPSI contract that has expired that Councilman Essex and myself will be working on. We have 2 PBA contracts that need to be negotiated this year that Councilman Arone and myself will be working on. Moving forward, I have called for the hiring of 3 police officers. So we will be moving forward on that, and as soon as we get the list, the chief will be moving forward to vet those people, and hopefully the town board will move forward and hire these people so that we have a full force. As I stated during the election, there were a lot of heated moments for a lot of people out there, but we're all one group, and I stated that I will work with everybody, and I meant that. And I think that most of my board has met with me and has realized that I really do want what's best for the town, as they do. And if we work together, we'll achieve those goals. And one last thing that I'm going to speak about is I'm going to make a change to our town board meetings. While I was out there walking the town, a lot of people told me that they don't come to the meetings because by the time we have our public opinions, we've already voted on everything, and they feel that their voice is wasted and that they really don't have a say. Our board meetings will now start with the Pledge of Allegiance, and immediately following, we will have public discussion on what's on the agenda. It'll be limited to what's on the agenda because we're here to do the town's business. And if you feel that you have an opinion on something that we're voting on, I think it's better that we hear it before we vote on it rather than after it. And many people were very receptive to that idea. So I'm going to move forward with doing it in that fashion. And other than that, I want to thank and congratulate all those people that did get elected this year, along with myself. And I thank everybody that came out. I congratulate the Hernandez family. And Mom and Dad over here, Mr. Orlando, I hear he owns a city. And as a Carmen, thank you for coming out and showing support. Your daughter was fantastic. As I told people, I taught her how to get away from a house in less than 30 minutes, and she taught me the power of working together with your fellow members, and it was a great experience. So thank you. And last but not least, it's probably past his bedtime, but thank you, Mr. Gabriel Ramos, for being here tonight, and congratulations. And with that, I'm going to ask for a motion to close the board meeting.
Motion.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Good night, and stay safe and stay warm. Thank you.